Hi, I'm CJ Elmberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a really nice Cimarron 4-horse. This thing is extremely well equipped. This is a 4-horse, air ride, easy tack, has a pod. I mean, this thing is not missing anything if you're looking for a 4-horse. Before we start walking you through this, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I'll show you some specs on it. This trailer is just under 24 foot on the floor. So you wanna talk about a very easy to maneuver trailer. Not big floor length by any means. It's 8 foot wide, and then we went extra tall. We went 7'4" tall on this one. Standard is 7'1", so you have that added width and added height on this one. And again, this is an air ride trailer. We're gonna walk you through it and show you all the cool features and just options we put on this Cimarron. So it is a 2026 Cimarron Norstar. Cimarrons are all aluminum construction. You're gonna get an 8-year structure warranty, a 3-year hardware warranty, and a 1-year no questions asked warranty under tires. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll start right here at the nose. You're gonna notice this one here is the polished stainless sheet on the nose, just really dresses this trailer up. You've got some marker lights on that top rail. This one here is our wraparound style nose. So you see this lower rocker panel. As we get to the side profile of this trailer, I'll show you what we're talking about there, and I'll kind of point some trailers out in the background, kind of some differences. This has got the B&W coupler. Okay, this is rated for 25,000 pounds. You have a lot of flexibility with this version. This is the 3rd version that they've come out with. We get this lower profile handle, which allows for another hole to be drilled into that actual coupler itself. So we've got a lot of flexibility to slide it up into this stem if we need to. Maybe not necessarily on this size of a trailer, but they build them all the same. So whether it's a big LQ, a big trainer trailer, or if you just got a taller truck, maybe it's got a little bit of a lift to it, we want these trailers to run level. By allowing this hole to be drilled in there, it allows us to set the trailer up how it needs to make sure it's running level and plenty of bed clearance. So great that they teamed up with B&W years ago. Underneath the gooseneck, we're gonna have an upgrade to the equalizer electric over hydraulic jack. So this is fantastic because one, you push a button and up and down this trailer goes. It makes a big difference, especially when I show you the tacks. If you put a lot of tack on this and leave it on this trailer, this nose is gonna be a little heavy. So hand cranking it, this is a very well equipped trailer. This is not where you wanna skimp. The other cool thing is this has a manual override on it. So I can actually physically pump this on or off the truck itself in emergency situations, okay? Low battery, something along that lines, we can pump it on or off. But this is what Cimarron puts on their trailers. This is what we put on ours here actually at our dealership through our parts and service department if somebody's looking to upgrade that. With that, you're gonna get the battery box. So in this battery box, we got a whole lot going on, but here's our battery, 12-volt battery disconnect. So when we park this trailer, this thing's got a ton of lights in case something gets left on. I just reach up here and I turn it to the off position and it's gonna kill all power. So it's not gonna drain this battery down. So hence the override on the manual jack. It's there, hopefully we never have to need it, but there could be a time where you will. But here's where your battery's located. You're also gonna get with this setup, this RedArc charger, okay? This is a newer feature, about a year old. It's now standard with this package. And what that RedArc charger does is it's gonna work as a true 3-staging charger to this 12-volt battery. Our truck would always work as a trickle charger to these batteries in this type of a setup, but very slow charging. So as the battery gets low, it's really hard to get it up to its optimal, charge level. And it's just slow. To where this, when we plug this into a truck, we have an indicator that it's gonna be plugged in. This light will go red. There's different profiles. So if we want to go with the lithium battery, we want to go to solar, we can set it up differently to charge this battery. But it tells us if we have 12-volt power coming from the tow vehicle, okay? And it's gonna work as a supercharger. It's gonna pull the optimal amperage we need from that truck to get this battery nice and charged up. So we're giving so much more life and longevity to this battery. I'm not gonna say we don't ever have any, calls, but the calls have drastically reduced from a power standpoint since this RedArc charger has got put on these trailers. We would get the early Sunday morning calls We were at an event, we go to hook on the trailer, today's the last day, we're hooking on so we can load as soon as the show's done and leave. Dead battery, okay? Well, something got left on. That's where the battery disconnect comes into play. But these batteries weren't getting really charged up, so we'd run into those issues. Since we've had these RedArc chargers put on there, those calls have almost come to a screeching halt. So it's definitely worth it there. We're also gonna get our onboard compressor. So I mentioned this trailer has air ride. We're gonna talk about what it does for the horses here in a little bit. But this is where the compressor is located, in this battery box, so it's nice and protected. You can see everything. Sometimes we tuck them back here. Well, it's harder to get to, harder to see what we're doing as far as our pressure gauge goes, but it's on, off, it's lower and raise, and then there's a dump on the bottom to actually clear the line, okay? We've got some how-to videos on how to operate it and then how to shut it down properly, really condensed versions we can send to you if you want to see how they're actually operated. But we'll talk about the air ride and what it does for the horses here in a little bit. Okay, so that wraparound style nose, you get this lower rocker panel. It's a cleaner, sleeker look. If we look kind of in the background at a couple of these Cimarron Goosenecks over here, that's the VP style nose. So you see a little bit different. Again, this on these type of loaded up trailers, you want a little bit better look to it, they've got this version here. So it really just kind of finishes off this trailer really nice. This is white sheeted, so that's standard. If you want to upgrade, there's silver metallic, charcoal metallic, black. There's a new caribou, which is kind of that brown metallic that matches the new Fords. You can do some custom colors, you can do stainless, but white standard. As you go up, you know, and make that change, there'll be an upcharge to there, but we can get some different setups for you. Now, as we work back, here's the cool part of this trailer. This is the Easy Tack, okay? So it's kind of a you know, hybrid of the actual trainer tack, but what we're looking at here is dual doors. So this left-hand door that you're looking at will shut first, okay? Then the right-hand door will overlap it. I'll show you at the end here. But on this door, we have a 6-tier blanket pull rack on a gas shock. We threw a brush tray on this door, so you can throw some smaller miscellaneous items in there if need be. On the right-hand door, up at the top, you've got some bridle hooks. Those are aluminum powder coated, so these guys are really stout. And then 2 brush trays. You know, that's kind of a blank door, so give you a little bit more storage there. And then if you look, everything's carpeted. So you notice probably on the left-hand door it's carpeted, right-hand door is carpeted. And then as we get into the rest of this Easy Tack setup, it's fully carpeted as well. And then, as you can see, we have 3 recessed posts. We did 2 saddle racks per on this setup. The nice thing about this is these are fully, you know, you can set it up however you want. So you can actually, you know, take one section out if you want, as far as the actual saddle racks go. You can take one over and put it here. You can add more to it. You can add more blanket bars. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility to this setup. But what I love about this is on the back side and front side, there's still a lot of storage. As far as on the ground itself, you can throw some items on the floor of this trailer. Saddles are right here, you know, easily accessible. You do have a couple steps here. So if you need to step up, grab a saddle and come out, or across this whole top portion is gonna be more bridle hooks with carpet behind there, okay? There is a couple LED lights right inside the door itself. So as you can see, plenty of light coverage. I'll show you the back side of this because you see this wall and this deck. When we get to the front tack room, I'll show you that part of it. But as you can see, we also upgraded to the gray rubber flooring. You know, a lot of times we're doing just rubber mats in here. Well, you know, they have seams, dirt can get underneath them. You can pull them out. As they heat up and, you know, expand, they can kind of get a little warp maybe a little bit. But this gray rubber is fantastic because it's cut to fit and then it's siliconed at the side. It's glued down. It has a ton of grip to it. We actually took this from the show cattle and show, you know, livestock trailers and brought it over here to the horse side of it. And we're incorporating this in a lot of trailers that will, again, I'll show you on this trailer that it has a bunch on it. So this left-hand door, like I said, will shut first. It has this 2-point internal lock, but it also is a slam latch too. So I don't necessarily have to, you know, reach in there and lift that and get it actually locked. You can actually slam it And then our right-hand doors, we're looking at it, that front door goes over to the top of it. Go ahead and secure it. Also has a combo deadbolt on it. So I don't necessarily, as long as I don't lock this guy right here, this latch, all I need is this combo lock and the combo itself, and I can just work off the trailer, which is really nice because it's always, who has the keys? So-and-so's checking in at the office. We need to get in here. Now we have to wait for them because they have the keys. Nope, as long as you have that, you can get in and out. The fold-up steps on gas shocks, really easy to operate, okay? So just flip up, flip down. We put a 16-inch awning light directly above that easy tack setup. So it shoots down and out, good exterior light coverage. You see all the button lights, we added a few more. Dress this trailer up, okay? This is a loaded 4-horse, so let's not skimp on lights. There's gonna be another light right here splitting the axles, another 16-inch awning light there. As you can see, we upgraded 2 drop-down windows on hip side, tail side, however you want to refer to it, butt side. This has got a lot of airflow because we can drop those guys down. You're also going to have the bus windows within those drop-down doors. Okay, so if you need to manipulate some airflow, you can. Those bus windows, half of them slide open. So again, you can kind of manipulate that airflow to kind of set it up how you want. Okay, axles. We have 2 7,000-pound axles, 16-inch aluminum wheels. Those are standard. And then we upgraded to a 14-ply tire just because of, hey, we got a lot more tack on this. You probably noticed it had a pod on it. We have mangers. It's 8 wide, it's 7.4 tall. Just upgraded those tires. That's definitely a nice feature there. What you're gonna get is a 1-year no question asked warranty on these tires. So if you catch road debris, if you have a blowout, if you catch a nail or a screw that punctures the sidewall and it can't be patched, they will replace the tire, no questions asked, within the first year. Okay, so that's from your purchase date itself. So you have that protection there. Don't just discard the tire. Get some pictures of the damage, get some codes off of it. We can help you through that. You're not going to go through Cimarron on that. You're going to go through Lion's Head, who is their vendor for wheels and tires, but we can help you out with that process. Okay, this has air ride, right? So this is the Dexter Airflex setup. Rubber torsion axles, shock kits, and then the air lines, the bags themselves. This trailer is actually aired up as we video it, okay? So one thing I always point out is when you're really working off of this trailer, loading, unloading horses, getting tack off of it, lower it. Because what it's gonna do is it's gonna push down about 2.5, 3 inches, and everything's gonna be closer to the ground. Those steps aren't gonna be as big. Our rear ramp that I'll show you here in a minute isn't as steep. So it's just easier working off the trailer when it's aired down. And then when you're going ready to pull out the driveway or hit the road, you air it up and you just go. So that air ride. Okay, the most common response we get from our customers that own air ride trailers is, I will never own another trailer without it. I mean, that's how much they believe in it. We understand you have probably large investments on this trailer, time, money. We want them to go compete at the highest level. Why not give them the best opportunity to go compete at that highest level and also protect them? And that's what Air Ride does. We can talk till we're blue in the face about all kinds of scenarios and stories we've heard, and we've got video to show a horse on a trailer with Air Ride, and then when it's not on Air Ride, how he acts, and it's completely different. So we're big believers in the Air Ride system. We sell a lot of them. We have a lot of them in inventory in different sizes, different setups, everything from pig, lamb, and goat trailers to cattle trailers to these horse trailers, trainer trailers, living quarters. We kind of carry it all because so many people really, really enjoy this Air Ride system. What's really fantastic about it is if something happens to that compressor, a line, a bag, and it sets down, you can still move the trailer. You're not stuck. That's what old Air Ride systems would do. So we've heard some horror stories, but these, you can actually set down and still move the trailer. So they've done a great job there. Okay, as you can see, the pod up top, that's that 8-foot pod. I've got the lid open. I'll take you up there in a minute. This has a rear deck on the back, so it's not that full length there. There is a deck at the back that you can work off of. Maybe we can put some items up there for storage. But again, I'll show you that here in a minute. So we'll get to the back here. I mentioned the rear ramp, so it's a ramp over at the back. We did dual 50/50 doors just because, if in this type of a setup, we have this partial wall because we have a broom closet behind it. But in this section here, if you do one single door, it's a large door that can catch a lot of wind. So we split these doors. Here in Colorado and Wyoming, I mean, this area, we get a ton of wind. So try to kind of keep the door size down if we can. We put windows in the back so we can get a lot of that airflow throughout the trailer itself. There's going to be a common theme that you're going to see when it comes to that. So butt strap that goes across that back opening, airflow dividers, okay? Airflow dividers on the actual dividers themselves. Head grills are airflow as well. You're going to notice these guys are padded dividers. We put a little length in this back stall, and that's so we can keep this back divider as solid. It's not a telescoping divider, okay? Telescoping dividers, it's one more moving part. There are circumstances and times that trailers call for telescoping. We like to try to minimize that as much as we can, so we like these solid dividers. But as you can see, I can set it against the wall and I can shut those back doors if I needed to open this whole trailer up. Stud divider at stall 1, and then we extended the jail bars clear up and over the hip of the horse. So if you needed this for additional storage, you can stack hay, bedding, whatever you want, as high as you want to the ceiling. We don't have to worry about it because it goes all the way up. If you need to separate somebody, good separation, because we have the lower solid stud divider itself, and then we've got those jail bars that go all the way across. Pad even on the partition wall up here. And then I want you to look at the fenders, okay? They taper those, so they do a great job. This is 8 wide, so in an 8 wide box, you're gonna have that wheel well on the inside. If it's 7.5, you're gonna have partial. If you go standard 610, you're gonna have nothing, but then it's a narrower trailer. This one here, we wanted to go 8 wide. You notice recessed paddle latches, okay? Everything has a radius to it. This is a cast aluminum piece, heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch itself to release. One-handed operation, everything is, okay? So we can lead a horse in, release that, open it, close it, whatever we need to. It can slam as well. Since it's plastic, and then these dividers, we're not getting that rattle, that metal to metal contact, so it's creating a lot of noise itself in these. But as you could see how easy it was to shut that. Everything has a radius to it. Cimarron's done a great job. You put your hands on everything. Even these jail bars are nice and smooth on the edges. So I give them so much credit on keeping in mind horse safety first and foremost. They've done a great job with that. LED lights, there's 4 of them. Those are those big OptiBrite lights. You kind of see them in that Easy Tack, but this is a good view of them. These guys are fantastic. They're clear, big lens. LED, so not a big power draw, but they put out a ton of light. This was what we were constantly putting on our inventory for the longest time, as long as they were available. I mean, obviously we had some parts issues there for a while, but they were all LEDs. They've now moved to these as standard on all the Cimarrons. So that was something we were constantly putting on ours. 4 two-way roof vents. So we have one above each stall. We can manipulate, again, that airflow. That's kind of the whole concept. This trailer, if you're down south in the heat and humidity, this is a great setup. If you live up north, guess what? You can kind of close it up a little bit, but you might be traveling all over the country. You might get from somewhere where it's not as warm and humid, and then you might be traveling somewhere where it is. Well, now you've got that flexibility to really open this trailer up and keep everybody nice and cool and just comfortable. Also, this roof, that is standard on every single Cimarron. That is their insulated roof, okay? So keep that in mind. It is a 1/2 inch thick honeycomb design. It's reinforced with that honeycomb design on there. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot. So you can walk on this roof, it won't dent it. It'll take substantial hail, so it's protecting your investment. Also, since it's not a metal roof, and when we tie into the rest of the trailer, you have that metal to metal contact. Well, it's gonna vibrate and make a lot of noise. This is a much quieter ride because of that roof. And then when you finish it off with the ability for it to keep this stall area 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. So horses are nice and cool and comfortable with this roof. It is fantastic. Cimarron is, one of the very few manufacturers that actually has a standard insulated roof. So we're big believers in it, and we absolutely love it. So when you flip to the other side of the trailer, okay, we look at the floor. You want to start off with a strong foundation, and that's what you have. You have the industry's best floor underneath what you're looking at, okay? So this is an integrated floor. It locks in, you know, high and low. It's tongue and groove. When you have 2 points of contact, it makes it a lot stouter. But what you have is you have 4-inch centers, okay? So 4-inch centers with that V-truss in the middle. That V-truss makes that 12-inch deck 60% stronger than their previous floor that I believe it was 2016, 2017, they changed to this floor. They made it better, it's stronger. So I guess the easiest way to explain it is wherever you have a horse standing on a Cimarron floor, they're standing on 1, if not 2 support beams. So really, really strong floor. Nobody else has anything close to it out there in the industry. Instead of rubber mats, we upgraded to Werm flooring. This is a nice trailer. So many of our customers that build trailers want to upgrade and do Werm flooring. It's permanent, it's unpenetrable. You know, it's easy to clean out. You don't have to pull mats. It's like wrestling alligators with those guys. This one here, we just went with black on this setup. There's different colors you can do, but this one here, it's at least set up with that Werm flooring already. All right, I'll shut these doors and I'll show you this ladder over here. So if we look up top there, you're gonna notice that we've got this gate that goes across that back deck. So it's just a little bit of a security for you when you're up there working on it. Again, you can store some items up there, but one, you have to get up there, okay? Bolt-on ladders are really difficult, especially if you're trying to carry items, okay? Bolt-on, you gotta go straight up the side. If you're carrying a hay bag, something like that, you wanna store up there, maybe some buckets. It's hard to go up a bolt-on ladder and carry something. This is Cimarron's easy angle ladder. So this guy, you just pull up and it extends out. And it just makes it to where you can transition up to this area so easy. In fact, I'm gonna grab the camera and I'm gonna go up this ladder itself. So I've got the camera in one hand and then I can easily make my way up this ladder itself. Okay, so we have a nice big grab handle right here for you. And then as we look across, there's the gate, okay? That guy can unpin and swing out. So if you're, you know, coming up here with a tractor or backing a truck up to it to load hay, you can open that guy up and swing it out of the way and get right here. But as you can see, there's a ton of room up here on this deck. We've had some customers go in and add maybe some D-rings. That way they can kind of bungee some items down, ratchet strap them down. We've had some upgrade to airliner track that we actually set into the floor. So then you can go ahead and strap items down. But then we've got this V opening here that goes into this pod itself. So great storage up here. This lid here is on these big gas shocks. There's 2 of them. So when this guy opens, it wants to open for you. A strap to pull it down and a handle, and we can lock it. And then there's that other gas shock. One thing a couple years ago we asked them to do is this used to be, this lid on top of the pod used to be just an aluminum sheet. But we asked them, hey, can you just go ahead and do this as the same material as the roof itself? Just because, I mean, if we did have hail, you know, the trailer would be fine, but the pod lids would get some dings in them. So they said, absolutely. So, you know, it's fantastic. They're incorporating that. You know, again, what it does for temperature, but boy, just the durability of it. And again, I can just hop on it and walk on this whole setup if I wanted to. But that V in the back makes it so easy just getting in and out of the actual pod itself when we have hay and those type of items. All right, I'm gonna make my way down here and pass the camera off. Again, it's really easy to operate. I can just lift it, slide it up. It's got some feet it actually rests on, but then it also locks in. So I can actually lock this if I want to secure it a little bit more. You have to remember, this has got this ramp over. So when I put this ramp over, that actual ladder is going to be behind it as well. They've got some big springs on this guy, so it's really easy to lift up. Again, when it's aired up, it's a little bit steeper. When you air this trailer down, it relaxes the, the trailer itself, so that box lowers. So that ramp can reach out a little bit more, so it's not quite as steep. Okay, 2 8-inch LED lights at the back here, kind of like those you saw on the side. And then if you look at those tail lights, they've got a white X in them. And that white X is a backup light. So we can throw our tow vehicle into reverse, and those guys will actually turn on. You will get home when it's dark. You'll pull in places that are unfamiliar. You want to know what you have behind there? Guess what? You just throw that tow vehicle in reverse, and those guys will actually light up, so you have some good light coverage here at the rear of the trailer. So you saw that partial wall on the back there. That's because in this back corner is going to be a broom closet. So great storage here. Again, we did that gray rubber on the floor. You've got carpet on that back wall with, again, a set of bridle hooks in there. This is kind of the standard height. You see this tube right here? That's where those normally would be. We like to elevate ours a little bit more. That way, if you're actually wanting to hang like a fork or something like that, you can set that on there and then that handle will drape down. So we've kind of elevated ours. There's a light in there, but just great storage. I mean, you can't have enough storage on these trailers, and this one has it. That is for sure. Okay, drop down feed windows and jail bars. As you can see, we upgraded. We did the screens on those, so screens are already on those jail bars themselves. But these guys are really easy to operate. If I wanted to drop this, maybe offer some more feed, something like that, I can easily drop them down. They just go right into that track. Big, massive windows. Okay, that's what I want you to look at. All this is framework, okay? So this is not anywhere close to a prefab window by any means. These guys are built heavy duty and stout. Not only are that, but you have these welded hinges with grease zerks, okay? So you can maintain them. If you get a stiff hinge, start getting one squawking at you like a goose, you can actually put grease to it, open and close these, and it'll feed it throughout the entire hinge. Because you have this brass ring you see here, that's attached to a rod that goes this full length, and it's got a swirl cut into it like a candy cane. So when you open and close it, it wants to feed it throughout that entire hinge. So you can maintain them a lot easier. Everything is key to like, so we can lock up all these drop down windows. Broom closet, mangers, rear, everything has one key, so really easy to go ahead and lock up. So speaking of mangers, you got 3 manger doors on this trailer. As you can see, we incorporated the gray rubber on the back, and we got you some big utility hooks. These are not the standard broom or bridle hooks. These are utility hooks, so there's 4 per. If you notice, they're a lot deeper off the wall, bigger spacing in between, and good height to them. But these are aluminum powder coated as well. So if you've got like big cords or big hoses, something like that, it's much easier to set them on this type of a setup than say the traditional bridle hooks. But again, they would normally do carpet behind here, but we really like this gray rubber. I mean, hay and feed aren't gonna get embedded in there in that carpet. So it's really easy to clean. You're also gonna have some lights in here. These are kind of the more common lights because you physically turn them on at the light itself. These are the ones that have the biggest potential to get bumped and get left on, and you don't know it. Because guess what? It's completely sealed up. You don't see that light in there. So in that instance, that's what could potentially drain your battery down. So just keep an eye on those. That's a common one where I've said, maybe you grabbed a bucket out of there and just bumped it and got left on or something like that. But definitely nice to have that lighting in there. You're gonna have that 16-inch awning light, again, splitting the axles there. And then we did another one kind of splitting the escape door and the front dressing room door on this trailer. So again, since it's not even 24 foot, you have a ton of light on the outside of this trailer. You have that escape door. You've got a chest bar that goes across. Again, it's easily accessible. We did put the D-rings in this front stall here. So obviously we didn't do a manger in this first one here, but if you wanted to do like a corner triangle feeder, we could easily do that. The snaps are, the hooks are already there, so you can just snap it on really easily. In this escape door is gonna be a drop down as well with the jail bars. All of these even have the bus windows within them, kind of like I told you about on the other side of the trailer. So, again, if I wanted to kind of shut this trailer up a little bit more and just utilize the bus windows to kind of and maybe minimize some more airflow, you can do that, but you have that flexibility. If you don't have those type of things, then you're kind of just stuck one way or the other. And then we've got this front dressing room. Okay, we did a fold up step on it. So again, really easy getting in and out of it. Let's come in on the floor. You're gonna notice there's that gray rubber flooring again. This stuff is in really high traffic areas. You don't really notice it until we started putting on trailers. I started, you know, going through an airport or, you know, just out in general, and you look at places, steps, you know, walkways, they incorporate this stuff throughout. This has got that kind of diamond plate kind of grip to it, and look, finish. It does have a good grip to it itself, but again, it's so easy to clean. We did an 18-inch boot box. Hey, look at that. We actually do have a corner feeder for you. So that guy there, we can just snap in. This is an 18-inch deep boot box here. So if you needed to put a larger bucket in here, it'll fit in here. The 12-inch boot boxes, not the case, because of you have to kind of put a little bit of a lip on it and then the hinge itself. But if you needed it to hang out in here, throw some smaller miscellaneous items in there, or hop up into the gooseneck, it's a great step to go up in there. As you can see, you've got 2 windows in the gooseneck itself. It's carpeted deck, carpeted drop wall. We put an LED light up in the nose. On these front dressing rooms, you're always going to get one light standard. That's going to be above your tack door. But this is a kind of a unique setup. I think the carpet always darkens these a little bit. We try to put a light up in the gooseneck. We just feel like you need a little bit more light in here. So again, I've never heard of a customer complain about not having too many lights. I've heard them complain the other way of not having enough. But as you can see, you can throw a mattress, a bedroll up there. There's a ton of storage with this thing being 8 foot wide. The box width itself, it really opens this up. You've got great storage. It is framed for an air conditioner or a 12-volt fan, or even a camper style van, a manual crank. They all take the same footprint. If you go with an AC, you're gonna have to add a power package to it, but that part of it's already done. You've got a clothes rod over there on the right-hand side, so we can hang some clothes in there, in that actual gooseneck area. And then as we come over, this is that deck that I was telling you about. So our bridle hooks are right up here. Then we have this deck. So our saddles are actually below this deck itself that we were looking at. But as you can see, it's got rubber up here. There's a lip to it. So this is great storage. I've heard some customers that have said, hey, there's like 3 of us traveling, 2 of us sleep in the nose, and we actually throw a sleeping bag or a bedroll right up here. This guy's stout enough you can do that. And it's big enough for one person to go ahead and sleep on that if need be. Did a set of hooks right here for you, just so it's really easily accessible by the door. Again, they always seem to be hanging items, so you have those there. And then behind me on the partition wall is going to be a shelf. Okay, this is an 18-inch deep with a 2-inch lip. It's got rubber up there as well, but a shelf to store some items up here, and then it's got a clothes rod as well. So between the one in the gooseneck and one here, if you need to travel with a lot of hanging clothes, or you're showing off of this, you need to hop into a show shirt, you can have everything right here. It's not taking up the back seat of the truck or anything like that, keeping everything nice and organized. Even the partition wall is carpeted, so again, we don't have to worry about anything rubbing on that itself. And then there is a light right above the door as we come in. That's the standard light, but again, we try to go ahead and incorporate one up in the nose itself, just to give you a little bit more. These type of setups are fantastic because, you know, especially if you're staying in it, or just, you know, you're traveling to shows and you want to kind of keep things a little bit more separated and organized, you know, you don't necessarily have tack in with that front dressing room. This has got a combo lock as well. Okay, so we did a combo lock on the tack door, and then also the front dressing door. So again, you can just punch in the code as long as the latches aren't locked, and go in and out of the trailer really easily. So again, what a great setup in a 4-horse. You know, it's definitely got a lot of extras on it, but hey, maybe that's what you need. It's just I don't need a big 8-horse, and I don't want just a basic 4-horse. I need that kind of in between, and this trailer's got it. So I'm gonna give you the stock number again. It's a 2026 Cimarron 4-star air ride with an easy tack. Stock number is 5N251213. So we do take trades. So if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring it to your door, and financing is available. So give us a call. Anybody on our sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.